feel like sacking managers and then hiring managers for immediate success is gone. They're going to be in exactly the same situation as they are with Lampard.
Another thing, who else is there to get?
Welcome back, guys, to the In Off the Bar podcast. There's been some huge breaking news in the world of football today. Frank Lampard has been sacked by Chelsea. In today's video, we're going to discuss whether he actually deserved to get sacked and if his replacement, Thomas Tuchel, is actually the right decision. Stephen, what do you think about this sacking?
I think it is absolutely ridiculous. I think, considering we literally put a video up 2 days ago, and you're saying, we're past the times of sackings. I was saying they've got to stick with the process. It's going to be, a long road. And I think they're now going to sign a manager who couldn't even keep a job at PSG with world-class players. And they think he's going to come in and do a job within the space of, they sacked Lampard in 18 months. So I guess they're hoping he would do better in 18 months. So I feel like every reason we're going to say it's going to be ridiculous. I cannot see anyone that would say it's a good signing. I think people that have said Frank Lampard out have been absolutely ridiculous.
I've got two hats on, right? So I'm going to go with my football fan hat and my West Ham fan hat. So let's put my football fan hat on right now. So I think I've actually tweeted this out on my Twitter a little bit earlier today. If Chelsea are willing to give up on a project, on a club legend, only 18 months into it, right, then whoever is in charge for future tenures, they've got no chance. They've got no chance of succeeding at Chelsea. And we've seen so far with Chelsea, they demand instant success. Yes, apparently since 2003, since Roman Abramovich has been the owner, they've been the most successful football club, right? Because they keep sacking managers and they keep bringing new ones in and then get instant success. That's not going to happen. If people think Thomas Tuchel is coming into Chelsea and he's going to win the league, then I'm sorry, it's just not happening. It is not happening. I am not convinced by Thomas Tuchel or Tuchel, however you want to pronounce him. I'm not convinced. Right, this guy got sacked by Borussia Dortmund. He went to PSG, right? And at PSG, you are basically, you're guaranteed a league title anyway. It's what you do in Europe. Now, for many years, he didn't do well. It was last year that they got into the Champions League final. They lost quite convincingly, like 2-0 against Bayern Munich. And he got sacked this season. One, they weren't really doing that well in the league. But as I understand, he got sacked mainly because of disagreements with the board. He wanted to sign certain players and they didn't want to go in a direction. Now, before Thomas Tuchel, apparently Chelsea sounded out Nagelsmann, the Red Bull Leipzig manager. And as soon as I heard this, I felt, what is the point of that? Because essentially, Nagelsmann, he isn't one of those managers who's going to come in and get instant success. And neither do I think Thomas Tuchel is. Nagelsmann is a guy similar to Lampard that would need time, would need to spend a certain amount of money in order to bring his own players in, the players that would fit his style of play. And essentially, they would just be wasting time. And for me, I'd be very surprised if Tuchel lasts 2 seasons. So I'll be very surprised in 2 years from now if Tuchel is Chelsea manager, because I just don't see it, happening. I just don't see it happening. I feel like the days of sacking managers, right, are long gone. Klopp, 5 seasons, right, at Liverpool. Guardiola, who doesn't spend longer than 2 or 3 seasons at a football club, has signed a new contract and probably will be at Man City for 5 or 6 seasons. I feel like managers and certain clubs have realised, you have to be patient. You have to build a club as well as a football team. And I feel like they've got this completely wrong. They need at least give him till the end of the season. That is what I say. What do you think?
I think that, I keep saying it, you've got to look at a perfect example being Solskjaer. He come in and he started off brilliantly, done the PSG game, Rio Ferdinand with a famous meme that's going round. Then all of a sudden, after the little bounce back of getting a new manager, started hitting the fan, right? Yeah. And basically now you're looking at United and they're in talks of winning the league.
Yep.
Probably looking like the most consistent team on form. And then you look at Chelsea and you're thinking, they bought Werner, as I said in the other video, Lampard can't make Werner put goals in the back of the net. If Werner probably hit as many goals as he did missing his shots, Lampard probably still have his job. Not to say it's Werner's fault, obviously, but just to bear that in mind. Then you look at someone like Kepa, who had to change as well. Kepa was never his signing. Kepa let in numerous amounts of goals. He dropped Kepa. He started playing Caballero. He then brings in Thiago Silva. The defence now, for me, looked a lot better. I think the defence was evenly better. I think he brought in Kai Havertz, what you said as well. That's not going to work. Sometimes signings don't work. Like the thing is, what you see with Chelsea fans, they all want instant success now. And
that's what they've ever got
to do. All you got to do is look back at Di Matteo. He won the Champions League, and the next season he was sacked.
Yeah.
You've got to look at that, for example. You've got to look at Ancelotti. They never sacked Ancelotti. When he was at Chelsea.
He won the league. I remember he won the league his first season. Then the previous season, he won. I think he won like the FA Cup and then finished second. And then they still sacked him. And I think that just symbolises Chelsea as a football club in terms of, they've been lucky. They have been fortunate. But you made two very good points in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And the other one that you could have alluded to is Arteta. Now, Arteta, well, I understand, let's be honest, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Arteta, they could have been sacked a couple of times by now. Right, especially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's been numerous amount of times where it doesn't look like it's going to work out, and then suddenly he gets a result, and then suddenly they'll get a couple of results in a row, and it looks like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is safe again. Then they have a bit of a dip, and it looks like he's safe again because they've picked up a couple of results. Same with Arteta. There was an argument to be made for Arteta to be sacked a couple of weeks ago. He's changed formation. He's brought in Smith Rowe into the team. He's dropped Willian, the players that are underperforming, and whilst looking at the league table, it doesn't look pretty. Arsenal, I don't know what position they are, but I know Chelsea are 9th. And let's be honest, it doesn't look pretty, especially if you spent 200 million. Looking at that table and Chelsea at 9th, it doesn't look pretty. But the realism is that this league is so tight at the moment. If Chelsea are 5 points off the top 4, if they won their next 3 or 4 games, right, they're probably comfortably in the top 4. So for me, to make a rash decision 6 months into the season, and basically bring this guy in who, I don't think will do a lot better. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think whilst he's got more managerial experience to his name and whatnot, do I think he'll do a lot more? No, I don't. I just don't. I think he'll be gone within 2 seasons. And as I said, Arteta, he looks like he's turning the form around. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the first time really that United have been in a title chase come this January for the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson, and they've given it time. And I do understand both teams' models in terms of managers are a little bit different. Arsenal, they had Wenger at Arsenal for so many years. Man United have had Sir Alex Ferguson, so they've had managers who've been there for long periods of time. Let them sort of build a dynasty. And for me, sacking Lampard, I just think it's a shame, really. I think the biggest thing, with Chelsea fans is that obviously they had a dream that they had, the first English Chelsea manager to win a Premier League title, and he was a club legend. And if they're not going to give time, an appropriate amount of time, to Lampard, who's a club legend, and just throw him away, then they're not going to give time to anyone. They're not going to give time to anyone. Yeah. And I feel like Chelsea fans, they do want sort of that stability, but also a part of them probably still likes the fact that they win titles because they sack, managers here and there. But I just don't agree with it. I don't agree. You got any final things to add to that, mate?
Yeah, just quickly, I'll complete it. I already said to him, you said 2 years. I don't reckon he'll be a manager come January next year. I think if he has a couple of bad games, he'll be gone. Because you look at Lampard a few weeks ago, they were top of the table. And then they've had a few bad results. They've gone down. He got relegated. And just one more thing you said about Sir Alex Ferguson. When he first signed for United, in his first season and second season, they're talking about sacking him. And you look, I'm not saying Lampard would have become a Sir Alex Ferguson, but you look on, he made Man United one of the most successful teams in Europe through his own legacy being there. Like you said, I think them sacking.
Even with Klopp, like I feel like the first couple of years under Klopp, Liverpool fans were like, well, where's this direction going? He hasn't identified, because in a way, I feel like Klopp sort of developed his tactics and changed the way, because Klopp coming at Liverpool and everyone knew he was like this heavy metal, like we'll score more goals than you. And I feel like obviously this season, not going too well, but the last couple of seasons, the reason why they're so consistent is because he's found the balance and he's realised that he's not going to win a title by winning 4-3 every week. You know what I mean? He's found the perfect balance of we're going to go score goals, but we've also got to be defensively sufficient. And I feel like managers learn that over time. And I'm not saying, if Chelsea lost the next 5 games in a row, that, sacking Lampard wouldn't be the right decision. But for me, right now, considering I would have at least given him till the end of the season. That is my final thing. That's my
Especially they started to look like they was playing football as well. You could see in the games where they were putting passes together and the way they were playing, you could tell that there was something there. You could tell something was developing. But then you look at the thing that got put out about the Athletic when they put something out and it basically said that the players felt embarrassed when he outed them publicly and he started shaking hands after the Leicester game. And I just think if them things are true, I think it's a shambles. I think I don't know. I just feel like Lampard's been let down massively. I think, especially the fact he's publishing.
Yeah, I do think. Yeah, just on the final note, you said about players not sort of agreeing with the fact that he's publicly criticising them, and I feel like Lampard has to learn that for his next managerial job, because you do see a lot of managers who Klopp, when the media are like, "Oh, how's your team play?" he'll always criticise himself to take away blame. And I feel like Lampard, if I was saying from the outside looking in, his man management could have been better. Maybe not publicly criticising them, right, live on Sky Sports saying they don't work hard, and then more give them a bollocking actually in the dressing room and saying you don't work hard, you're not doing this. But to actually give public, criticism, I can see why fat players can turn. But I think, yeah, just overall, I think wrong decision. Tuchel, I don't think he's the right man for the job. They needed someone more, someone with more pedigree who could come in and, sort of have proof that they can do a job straight away. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Let us know in the comments section down below what you think of Chelsea sacking Lampard and replacing him with Thomas Tuchel. Do you believe it is the right decision? Make sure you let us know in the comment section down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and we'll check you next video. See you later, guys.